I always said I didn't feel like I was gonna come out. I never felt like I had a need to, and I was, like, mad that that was even a thing that I had to do or that someone had to do. Like, this isn't normal, or this isn't something that everyone does. This is something that we have to say out loud now because this is, like, out of the norm. And so all throughout these years, I'm like, I'm not gonna come out. Everyone's just gonna have to figure it out. There's also a giveaway in a little bit in this video. Stay tuned for that. Now I'm like, I see that that's not the world that we live in, and that's also not the world that I live in. Like, as a person that, like, is kind of a public figure and talks about my life online, it's not like me to hide anything. And the reason why I was hiding stuff is because I was afraid. I was afraid of homophobia. I was afraid of losing male attention and validation. And I'm not afraid of that anymore. In fact, I'm afraid of the opposite now. Part of the reason why I didn't say this for a while too is because I wasn't sure. And I wasn't for so long. So I sat with this for like 8 months with this label, and I've just vibed in it and told my friends about it, and we've lived in this realm of Paige existing in this way just to see how it fits and how it feels. And it feels like I'm myself. It feels good. I feel good. I feel so good and not afraid and not like I have to do anything I don't want to do. And so I'm happy to announce to you guys, I'm a lesbian. What? That's why I've always known that I was gay. Ever since I was young, like, I've always known that I liked girls. I've questioned if I've liked boys, especially for the last, like, 7, 8 years. I've been wondering, like, wait, do I even like boys? As I've been, like, with them, I'm like, I don't know if I'm enjoying this, actually. Which is something that you want to know and something that I kind of figured out. It took me a little bit. And if you think you might be a lesbian, I have the perfect sponsor for this video. The sponsor for this video is Balesa. Do you guys know who Balesa is? Balesa, by women, sexual wellness company. They just sent me their new line of sexual devices. And first ever silent toys are here. May I introduce you to the Whisper line. These boys, not only, look at, we got her, we've got the Whisper Vibe, the Whisper Bullet, and the Whisper Rabbit. I heard you like magic. I got a wand and a rabbit. They're all consistent. There's no stupid ones. It's just fast, faster, fastest, fastester, the fastestest, and then clit flying off hitting the wall. You want to hear these? Hold on. Let's get them on going. I said silent. Let's hear them. Let's turn them both on at once. Do you hear that? I didn't think so. Not only does it have that one on, but then you can turn this button on and watch. Let's turn them all three on at once. Bullet, on. Rabbit, on. Rabbit tail, on. Vibe, on. All these are on. They're all on right now. Can you hear them? These are all on right now. They feel so funky in my hands. Not only are they super duper quiet, they are the softest toys I've ever felt in my life. I want to hold them in my hands. I need to turn them off because they tickle. So you can use these and not wake up the entire house. Or even not even wake up your partner next to you. Like if you're a lesbian and you're not enjoying yourself and then your partner falls asleep and you're like, so I need to let you know that these exist. They're so soft. Before you go anywhere, and if you would like to check them out, definitely go through me in the link that I've got going on wherever the heck it is. It's down below in the thing. Everyone who signs up is gonna win a free, listen, Whisper Vibe, or a free rose toy. Yes, roses, with any purchase from the Whisper line. So click my link below and get yourself hooked up with the new vibe. See, now this is silent, but the question is that helpful if you can't be silent? Where were you a few years ago? It's so cute! Like, what a nice cup. Thank you, Balesa, for gifting us all today. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. The more that I've kind of healed and the more that I've understood myself and allowed myself to exist and grow over these last few years that I've been like a human person, I've realized I've unraveled a lot of that shame and a lot of what was put upon me at a young age. And there are a few things that I realized were huge contributors to what had me clinging on to the idea of men or the idea of a relationship with a man, or what kept me in relationships with men despite not liking them. You know me, and I don't think we can talk about anyone's, actions and personality as a human person without talking about their childhood. So let's just zoom on back down to that. And if you guys have heard me talk about my father at all, which is very limited because I have been taught to not talk about anything my dad has ever said or done to me. My dad's a pretty bad dad. He's a very bad dad, and I would say he's not a very good person either. He is the second most homophobic person I've ever met, coming only second to his own mother. They're so homophobic that as a child I was like, how many gay people have you personally murdered? So here's the thing about that family specifically. I always knew that there was some gay in this family when my cousin was born, and we've all known my cousin was gay from birth. I just knew that I didn't find it disgusting, and I knew that my dad and my grandma like hated gay people's guts so bad. I'm like, the only people that are so mad at that are just upset that like they're jealous, like you're projecting, like you wish you could have that. That's why you want to kill them, because you don't want to see them around anymore, because you are upset that's not you. And then they shut the fuck up. I forgot to add that there are studies that say this, that like the more homophobic you are, the more likely it is that the person's gay. I'm gonna say that now so no one yells at me and goes, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't not make sense. It doesn't not make sense. But I was always standing up for, I don't know, just what I felt was right. It wasn't even like, I didn't feel like I was being personally attacked or anything. But growing up, I guess, in that environment, I just knew. I just knew how homophobic my dad was. And I have never been like afraid of my dad, I want to say, but I totally am. I totally was as a little girl. My dad was very abusive, and I was definitely scared of him as a kid. And as a teen, I started getting a really hard exterior with my father because I knew how shitty of a guy he was. The thing about why I'm bringing this up is because when you got no choice when you live with your parents your whole childhood, but to crave and need your parents to take care of you and their attention and stuff. And my parents, they were both very neglectful. My dad more so. I would say at first he was indifferent and just like wanted nothing to do with me, didn't care. I was just a boring, loud thing. But then as I got older, got a personality, I would say my dad began to hate me because I am him looking in the mirror, but knows all about what he did and who he is and what kind of guy he is, and he can't manipulate me, and that really sucks for him. I wanted my dad to like me so bad for so long, all throughout like my childhood. My dad didn't care to spend any time with me at all, unless it was, my dad was alcoholic, so he would be like drunk, rambling on about his special interest. And I would listen and soak it all up because I'm just like, Daddy, love me. Please love me, Daddy. Please love me. Please take care of me. And my dad just never did. And so your parents innately teach you what love is, just because you're born like needing and loving your parents. So however your parents are to you, you don't notice that you're changing. Like when your parents are not good to you and when your parents abuse you, you don't notice. I had this weird feeling about my dad, and I loved him, but how he treated me was how you treat someone that you hate. And so I dated guys who hated me. But also, I was groomed as a child to be a sexual object. I was very like objectified. In my day and age, I had access to pornography extremely young, and I had like a porn addiction at like 11. I was totally watching stuff that I shouldn't have, and that also combined with the way that my parents were and the way that they were raising me taught me how to be a certain kind of person. Porn taught me that this is what men wanted, and also I was an actor. I've been an actor. I was like, done. This is training for me. I'm learning exactly. I'm figuring it out, and I know exactly how to be something that men want. And it's always like the most douchiest, narcissistic, but hottest Okay, I will say, like, all of my male exes, 10 out of 10. Shut up, my male exes. I highly doubt that any of you are watching this. And I saw someone say something in a TikTok once that was like, if you only date 10s, that's a little gay. And I was like, you're kind of right, though. When I look at all of my male exes, too, they all look the same. And they all look like me. which also kind of looks like my dad, which I'm like, but I think that there's more psychologically to it. I think that I was attracted to, first of all, the most attractive man only. Only the hottest man that I could see or find, or that anyone else could see or find. There was one time in grade 9 where all the girls were like, this guy's the hottest grade 9. And I was like, that's the guy I have a crush on. And then I dated him for like 2 months because I was like, I have a crush on him because he's the hottest. But then we were dating, I was like, I'm not attracted to you whatsoever. Goodbye. Like, not at all. What the I had crushes as a kid, like as a kid, on boys, but they were so shallow. And if a boy like had like a big cut on his face, I'd be like, no, I don't like him anymore. Or if he like smelled really bad one day, I'm like, ew, disgusting. Like I'd be so turned off if they did something. Like I was just like, no, I don't like that person anymore at all. And why I bring that up with the porn thing at a young age too is, as someone who was like so exposed to sex at such a young age, and it was autistic undiagnosed, I was subconsciously already training and ready to like, okay, these are the boys that I'm going to have sex with, I guess. And it was easier for me as a kid to be attracted to boys because boys and girls are very similar. And then when they get older and become men and women and start hitting puberty, then that's where men and women are very much different. And so I think that's where I also got or was confused, because I wish that I could have, had more support and help in teaching, and would have refrained from any kind of sexual activity until I was in my adulthood. If that happened, I would have been, way safer. But I was just not in a situation or environment where that was even possible.
I'm editing this, and there isn't one time where I say comp het, where I say compulsory heterosexuality. So I'm saying it now. If you didn't know, that's what was going on here. At the very core base of it, I'm just icing the cake right now, But the cake, I didn't mention that we're icing a cake. We're icing a cake. That cake is comp het.
Porn I was consuming, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the porn I consumed half my life ago. I just really like to look at pictures of girls. I like to look at girls kissing. Never really cared for the penetrative sex stuff. But anytime I did or watched that or came across of that, I didn't recognize that I was always seeing myself or viewing myself in the position of the guy. And whenever I was intimate sexually with a guy, that's also what I was doing. I'm just connecting these dots, beep, bop, boop. I have a really hard time hurting somebody. I have a hard time like hurting animals, hurting anything. Whenever something happens to somebody, if you describe something painful to me, don't even do it because I can feel it in my body. I feel it, and whenever I think about it, I feel it, and it's awful. It's awful. It's awful. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I can always feel something else. Like in a movie, I have to look away, and I feel it in my body. It's happening at the same time, and it makes me feel like I've been that person before already, or like I know what it's like to be that. Like I'm like, why does my body recognize that anyway? And perhaps that is something that made it possible for me to completely dissociate when having sex with men and imagine myself being the man. I could just act, and I could just imagine that this was being like happened to me as the man. I always thought ever since I was a little kid, I'm like, I hate having a vagina. I know you guys don't know this, but I have a vagina. Don't think about it or talk about it, okay? I don't want you to think about it. But I always was like, I'd much rather have a dick. Seems way easier and way more fun. Like what I got doesn't even help me at all. I don't like it. I don't want any of this. I don't want to give birth. And I noticed another thing, how I was doing that. Sometimes I would really like a girl and have a crush on a girl, and the guy that she liked, I would go for. And then I would kind of think about her. And I hate that now because there's something like, for me, having thoughts about somebody else sexually without their consent is like a harassment. Like I have such a problem with that. When he was being like nice to me and stuff, I never really liked it, but I would think about like, what does she feel when he did this? I bet she felt really good. And if she felt really good, then that makes me feel really good. Even though thoughts, like, thoughts aren't actions and you can't control your thoughts. I have OCD, so it's really important for me to say out loud, you can't control your thoughts. You aren't your thoughts. I had narcissistic parents who convinced me that they could read my mind. And so I think that's also like part of the conditioning that like my thoughts have to be perfect and innocent and pure and wonderful and mean everything that I am as a person. So that's part of like the reason why I liked them when they looked like me. It's easier to imagine me like that. Like, I'm like, I want to look like that. I kind of do look like that. That's easier for me. But also, I never chose a guy and like went for him. I was always chosen. Like, they went for me. And it was always like, everyone else hyped him up first. Like, once the girls told me that he was hot and cool, and I was like, okay, well, they must be right. This guy must be hot. He really likes me. I know that, you know, hot guy, hot girl, we're Barbie and Ken. This is exactly what life is supposed to be and exactly what I'm trained to do. Perfect. And I will tell you that with a good amount of my, with a few of my exes, there were feelings there. Now, the feelings, though, were platonic. There weren't sexual feelings there. And when I really knew that that was a thing and a problem was when I noticed and when I knew that what I was doing was dissociating. There were periods of time when I would, like, I'd be, like, doing something with a man, and my consciousness would, like in a movie, and it would just go away, zoom out into black nothingness, and I would just be gone for, I don't know, and then I'd come back into the world, like, slowly everything would come back into view and into consciousness, and I was, like, still doing something, maybe in a different position, like, I lost some time, and I was like, that's weird and strange and odd. And after a few years, I realized, like, oh, why are you leaving your body? I don't think that happens when you're enjoying yourself. And I've always had in the back of my mind, like, you're not enjoying yourself. You're not enjoying yourself. You're not enjoying yourself. You're still not enjoying yourself. You're waiting for it to be done every single time. You're wanting it to be done every single time. You cry afterwards. Like, you feel violated. Quit it then. Quit it. Whose permission do you need? I was used to chasing love from a man, and so all of my male exes, not all of them, there was like one that was really good, and we only dated for like 3 months because he realized that I was like not okay, and he broke up with me. He's doing great, and I love him lots, platonically. My other exes were not good guys. Like, they were like my dad, and so I was like, this is comfy and normal. As I have backed away completely from my father, and I have healed from feeling like I need a father and want a father, I felt like being attractive and having men see me as attractive was the only way that a man was going to stay in my life. I'm like, guys like me because I look away. That's power. I can use that. Now I don't feel like it's power. Now I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like it's power that men have over me. When and if I know a man is attracted to me, I'm fucking terrified. Mentally, I'm terrified of what happens next and the fact that I'm going to have to find a way to say no and be okay with saying no. And I have a really hard time saying no to men. I'm such a man pleaser because of my fucking dad. And when a man like wants something from me, I used to be so like, yes, good, yes, thank you, good, yes, please. And then when it was like sexual, I'm like, fuck. And I'd be like, well, I guess that's what happens. That's what's next. That's what I get. That's what I got myself into. Of course you would expect that. Why not? And so first I'd be scared. I'd be like, oh God, I gotta make a boundary that I'm not comfortable making because of my past. And that's something that I had to work on. But it also, number two, I'm scared because if and when I make that boundary, is it going to be respected? Like I've said, I've been with guys before, but I've never wanted to and never enjoyed myself. Those times were still consensual. I completely consented. Although I feel in my body and my soul, like my body reacts as if I was sexually assaulted by these men. I know that cognitively they didn't, and I don't feel like that. As well, on the other side, there were times where I was sexually assaulted by men. Really sucked. And even those times I was like, this is normal and okay. It makes me sad thinking about the teenage girl who thought that she deserved that and thought that there were guys that took advantage of me just because they knew that they could, and I didn't know that they knew that. And like, it just sucks so much when thinking about that. If you've been with a man, and especially if you have a vagina, they care about your pleasure. And I had some good men try, and I'm like, I feel like a freak. I feel like a freak. I don't know what it is. I didn't know what it was. Well, I knew what it was. I'm so innately uncomfortable and don't want to do this at all. I'm like, oh yeah, no, that was great. That was so great, and I'm perfectly satisfied with that. Just so they could stop, because I wanted it to stop, and I couldn't say the words, I don't want to do this, actually. I would like this to stop happening, because I was like, I don't know how I feel. I'm disconnected with the way that I feel in my body, and I also don't feel compelled to be able to say that now. Now I know. Now I know. Don't even look at me like that. You look at me like that, I want to punch you in the face. Don't touch me. No wonder I could not reach the finish line with men, because they were touching me. But like I said, I've always known that I liked girls in some way, and I knew that for always. But it felt completely different how I felt about boys. I didn't think that it even counted or that it even existed for a long time, because the way that I felt about girls and women, just so natural, and like it wasn't acting, and like it wasn't hard, and like it wasn't stressful. But to me, love was acting and hard and stressful. But as I've learned what love is, I'm like, oh, I literally hate all of that. I was just like, I was just taught that that was what I had to live. I don't have to live that anymore. I can be happy. And being happy for me looks like being with a woman. I've been with women before, and in between these periods, and the times that I've been with women were lovely. They were mad, but you know what? I still have never been able to be fully comfortable being with another person, but it was completely different. And because it was completely different, oh my god, there was one time where I did a horrible thing. I had a boyfriend, and I cheated on my boyfriend with my girl best friend. I didn't even register it in my head as cheating. I think I probably did, but was probably such a guilty, shameful, really didn't want to admit it. And so probably also held it back for being a shitty person. But I was like, that wasn't even anything, because it felt completely different. Like kissing a guy versus kissing her. I'm like, with you, with her, it just happened. It just happened because I don't know. With him, there were steps involved that I knew were going to happen, that I planned for, that I when he did this, I did this. When you did this, I did this. It was a performance. It was a dance. It was something I choreographed. It was something I'd performed before. With her, it was just, I didn't exist. And I completely was like, I didn't even register it for like years, until years later I'm like, I cheated on my boyfriend. That's awful. I still struggle with internalized homophobia. I know the homophobia that exists in the world, and I hear it anytime I am gay in public. In my town, I know how many horrible people are here and how many homophobic people are here, and I have to remind myself to not be less gay, like in public. There were times like I had a girlfriend and we'd go in public and like I'd drop her hand because I was nervous, and that sucks. Like that sucks for her. And so I'm like, that's something I gotta figure out, because I don't want that. Because look at me, I'm being homophobic, and it's because of what I've learned. Being told like all these horrible things about like being gay and gay relationships, and like that you're never gonna be happy or satisfied, and that it's all, like all of these things. I was like, I don't know if I can be with a woman. I don't know if I'm allowed to. I don't know if I will be happy being with a woman because of homophobia. And then I realized, well, what sucks more? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna choose women over men. I'm gonna choose homophobia over probably giving myself autoimmune disorders for how stressed out I was. Another reason why I didn't say anything for so long, I think, was because I didn't want to like hurt my ex's feelings. And that's just another trauma response of mine, caring so much about the fucking feelings of men. Because I also, for some reason, was like, I don't want to tell, because what if I do like men? Now they're all going to stop talking to me and looking away from me. And then I thought, yeah, what if, Paige? A world without men trying to have sex with me would be an amazing world. I would love that world. That would be such a fun, freeing world. I could do and be and wear whatever I wanted. Like, I could go places. I could, like, okay, that's great. So yeah, I want all of the men to know to, like, if you come up to me, hey, I'm gonna go, I'm gay. Please don't. And it's cool, and it's fine, and it's okay. And if the man gets mad, I'm just gonna bop him one last time. And that's all it has to be. It's just one boundary. That's it. I don't want to. I've always had trouble with female relationships growing up. And I've always been, like, better friends with guys. But then there's, always been a point where, like, my guy friend betrays me and is like, can we have sex? And I'm like, I fucking hate you. Why would you do that to me? My girlfriends are really cool. Like, you gotta be really cool. But my guy friends are also really fucking cool. In my adult life, like, when I was like around 21, and I say like around 2021 is when I became a person, started becoming a person, but I found myself in this predicament where I dated a guy, not legitly, for like a couple months, and in that time, I'd hung out with his friends so much that, like, me and his friends really vibed, and when him and I were like, his, like, friend was like, I still really, like, hang out with her though. Can we still do that? Him and I hung out, and he's my best friend for, it's been 3 years now. I don't know if he's probably on this channel somewhere, to be honest. I think there's a video, but you guys have seen him if you follow my Instagram. It's Neil. His name's Neil. Neil's my best friend. And, well, not only that, but like the guy that I dated, who is our mutual friend, who's much more private. I don't talk about him. He only exists if you see him in real life. We were always really good friends and way better friends. We were like, that would be actually great if we could, like, be friends and be in each other's lives and just help each other out and talk to each other about our issues. And the three of us are really good friends. Over these few years, having these, like, really strong platonic bonds with these men, I'm so happy, and I'm like, this is what I wanted. This is what I always wanted. Guys who loved me for me, and not because they wanted to have sex with me, not because they were attracted to me. We all respect and love each other as human people and want the best for each other as human people and are friends. And they know I'm a lesbian, and they love me so much, and I love them so much. I love them so much. They have helped me realize who I am. And honestly, I couldn't have figured out who I was and that I was a lesbian, honestly, without even, like, dating this guy too, to be honest, because he was the, like, first and only guy that I've ever been with who wasn't a narcissistic guy. He was the first guy who I was fake around, and he was like, why are you being fake? Like, because all the other guys liked me being a fake little masking little because they were all weirdos. But he liked me more when I was being more of myself, and I had to discover who that was. He really gave me that space to learn to be myself, and the more I learned to be myself, the more I'm like, yeah, no, I really don't like you. It wasn't like that. But the closer that we became off that left me in a space where I had a close relationship with the man that was not contingent on sexual favors. I think it's helped me know that, not all men are bad, and not all men are like, and want to take advantage of me and wanna. I have two really wonderful men in my life. And the best part is that I never have to have sex with them. They can keep their stinky faces away from me. I felt like the only power that I held over men was if I'm attractive, and if they're attracted to me, I can use that to my advantage. But I now feel like the power that I hold is in me and not in their hands. And it's when I say, no, you don't have any power over me, actually, sir. There's no way where you benefit me. And that makes me feel better. And not in a I hate men way, but in a I've realized that I've never actually really wanted one, and I don't need one. And that's okay. I know that I still struggle with internalized homophobia. I still hear, like, my father and my mother. I hear everyone in the back of my head, like, saying things a lot of time when I go outside. But those are my own issues, and there are things that I can do to make that better. I was also afraid of saying anything because I have a really big fear of people on the internet getting angry at me. I've got some PTSD from that. And I don't think I'm even saying that lately. And so I've been afraid of even, like, entering, I don't know, like, I've always known that I've been gay. I called myself bisexual at, like, 15, I think. I'm afraid to be in a lesbian space. And what if I'm not? What if, Paige? What if? I've been fearing that for 7 years. that, well, what if there is this perfect man? I'm like, really? What is he like? What would that situation be where you'd be happy with that? What does that look like? Is it fictional? Is it a fairy tale? Does it exist? Is he like a woman? Yeah, I've decided also, like, I've sat in this label for like 8 months. I'm comfortable in it. I don't feel like I'm appropriating anything anymore. If for some reason, I don't know, if a man comes along and even has, like, I don't think that can even happen. I couldn't see an opportunity, like, like, that's not that, like, no, I don't think that could happen. I'm very much okay in where I am. I'm very content. I know what I want. Look at my fucking hair right now. Look at that, this looks so sick. I look like I got a mullet right now. This is gay. This looks fucking gay. I tried to make my hair air dry. I've been telling you guys I got wavy hair, like, I swear, and it's air dried and it gets straighter as it dries. Like, right now I'm just like, come on. No one has to come out, but I want to. Don't take this as a pressure for you to do this. I'm just saying this out loud because I'm excited. Ah, it's a step. It's a boundary. I'm a lesbian, okay? That's my fucking boundary. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. And if you think you might be a lesbian, shall we just turn it off again? Can you hear that? Faster. Fastest! 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 Thanks, Balessa, for doing this giveaway. Oh, I don't think I've told YouTube at all that I've released a course that's all about unmasking, and it's basically the road from being diagnosed autistic to now to being, like, finding out who I am and existing in a life that works for me. And because I get questions about it all the time, and it's a very long, complex process. So I put it all into a bunch of videos, and I put it all in a thing all together because it's like a whole step process. So if you're interested in checking it out, it's only 25 bucks and it'll stay that way forever, and it's in my website. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for checking out all of my stuff, and yeah, I'll talk to you later.
This is the end of the video song. This video's to tell you the video's done. If you're hearing this, it's because the video's done. Go watch another one. Boop boop. Have a good day. Love you so much. Bye.